gearing up for the U.S. men's Olympic hockey team to get started here in Milan, and rightfully so. There are a lot of questions of how is this different than the hockey I watch every single night with the National Hockey League, and there are a lot of differences that myself and Jordan Hall are going to go through here with NBC. The biggest one that has been a lot of controversy and a lot of questions is the rink that these players will be playing on. Normally, it is a much wider rink, allowing for more pace of play, allowing for it not to be as intense because you have more room to work with. Well, Milan and the Olympics decided on only making the rink 3 feet longer in length, Jordan. So it's not going to be that different, but for players that are so used to something being the same, I'm sure it's going to feel a little different.
I think there will be a small adjustment. 3 feet is still 3 feet, but it's true, Ashley. It's not going to be as drastic as we've seen maybe in past Olympics where the rink is much wider. It's just a length difference, and it's by 3 feet. So I still think we're going to see a ton of dynamic play on the ice. It's the best players in the world. As we all know, I don't think they need a whole lot of time and space to make some incredible plays, and that definitely goes for the U.S. men's team, where we're going to see some of the best players in the world and, of course, in America really go at it. So I think there will be some small adjustments, Ashlyn, but I don't think it's going to be anything drastic where the viewer sees it and says, oh, wow, it's way smaller than what we see here in the NHL.
Yes, and I'm going to go ahead and bump up the biggest difference that I feel like is here for the Olympics. And it shocked my family when I told them about it. There is no fighting in the Olympics. We saw the Four Nations. We saw those epic fights between Canada and the U.S. right at the start of the game. You cannot drop the gloves in the Olympics. If you do, it is a major penalty, possible ejection. So we want to keep the peace here at the Olympic Games.
Actually, I think some fans might be disappointed to hear that, especially after they watched the Four Nations face-off last February, where everyone remembers Canada and U.S. in that round-robin game, 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of the game. And I think, whether you want to admit it or not, that drew fans in. I had casual fans reach out to me and say, oh my gosh, that was awesome. This matters to these guys. I can't wait for the medal games. It built up the hype for that Canada-U.S. gold medal game where Canada won in overtime with Connor McDavid scoring the winner. But actually, I still think we're going to see terrific play. Again, Canada, U.S., a lot of really good teams in these Olympics, where I think the pace of play is going to be excellent. The skill is going to be at a high level. The physicality should be there. You just might not see the fights that we saw in the Four Nations face-off, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I still think the hockey is going to be great.
Agreed. I think the hockey, the play will make up for that. Another change here. The intermissions are normally 18 minutes in the NHL. They're only 15 minutes in the Olympics. But I think probably the biggest change that you'll see is the overtime format. And it's based differently on the preliminary rounds, the medal rounds, and the gold medal rounds. So I would say this is the biggest difference that fans will notice besides the fighting. But I think one of the cooler things, Jordan, with the Olympics, normally in a shootout, when it comes down to that in overtime, you pick your 3 best players. Well, the Olympics, you can pick your best 5, which I think gives you more variety there in overtime.
It does, a little more intrigue. And what's really neat, Ashlyn, as we know, if it is still tied after your 5 shooters, it becomes a tiebreak. And in that tiebreak scenario for the shootout, you can use the same shooter over and over and over again. And I think it makes us all remember TJ Oshie in 2014, the hero in Sochi for the U.S. when they beat Russia in the preliminary round. He scored 4 times. He shot 6 times in the shootout. They just kept rolling him out there, and we saw why TJ Oshie was so dynamic in the shootout. So I would not complain if we see a tiebreak after a 5-round shootout. I would love to see it go to a tiebreak because maybe we will see that same shootout shooter go time and time again. And as you mentioned, overtime, a little different in each aspect of the Olympics. In the preliminary round, it's 3-on-3 for 5 minutes. In the playoff rounds, it's 10 minutes, 3-on-3. And then in the medal games, it's 3-on-3 for 20 minutes. So I think it's really going to be open ice, which is fun. I think it's intriguing that it's 3-on-3 no matter what. We've seen it here in the NHL, Ashlyn, how fun it can be, how up and down it can be. One team makes a mistake, the other team capitalizes. You're going to get that with the best players in the world. Man, that's going to be a treat to watch.
It is. This is when hockey gets really good, if a medal game makes it to overtime. So those are the biggest changes to pay attention to with this men's team getting ready for the Olympics compared to the NHL. It's going to be really fun.